Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got a video today from Modern Dating Here.
There's indication that you knew in 2012 that Mr. Chandler was not the father of this child.
Yes.
My problem is we've got a child out there that you guys knew, and this entire thing, no offense, Miss Johnson, was based on a lie that Mr. Chandler was the father.
So both the mother and her child's biological father knew the truth, but for some reason, they allowed another man who wasn't the biological father to be held responsible for child support for over a decade. Fortunately, this situation came to an end after a DNA test revealed the truth. The sad part is that an innocent man already paid child support for more than 10 years, while the actual father paid nothing.
Okay.
Mr. Johnson, or Mr. Chandler, what's your input on this one? I
mean, 1460 just sounds a little extensive to me.
Well, what is your actual income? What are you earning?
I'm not employed right now.
Okay, when were you last employed?
In May.
And what did you do?
I was a truck driver, but
what were you earning?
I was getting 50 cents a mile.
And how many miles did you normally travel?
Every week my expectations was around 3,000 miles a week, but I never reached that.
So how much did you normally travel? And
maybe like 1,800.
Okay, at 50 cents a mile, you would have gotten as a contractor?
No, W-2.
So you were a W-2 employee. So they took taxes out of the...
Yes.
So you were earning about $78,000 a year, technically.
No, I only worked. I barely just got my CDL a few months ago.
And why did you lose this job?
Because FOC continues to suspend my license. My license is my job. So if they continue to suspend my license, then when companies find out,
That makes sense.
I have to have an active license for 6 months before they consider anybody to give me another job.
So we're basically tying his hands, Mr. Hahn?
Your Honor, during the pre-hearing conference, I did ask about his income. He did inform me of the 50 cents a mile at 3,000 miles a week,
Right.
which is what I used. However, when I asked him why he no longer worked there, he informed me that, and I'm going to read my notes, he left for a better opportunity. So he did not indicate that he had any concerns regarding front of the court suspending his license. He said he left for a better opportunity.
Yes, that is true, but that's just my professional answer.
All right. I'm going to hold him at $1,000 a week instead of the $1,500. I'm hearing testimony that he didn't, but we need to get his license reinstated. And that'll be on this case.
Your Honor, would you like that as W-2 or 1099?
W-2. Because that was his potential, not his actual. Let's get him on what his actual was, and I'll hold him to what a job was that he walked away from.
Another job will not consider me.
Yeah, I understand. When did they say? Okay, when did they say? I'll deal with that in a minute. When did they take away your CDL?
Well, the state of Texas have not taken away my CDL, but other jobs, when I apply for more jobs, they do a federal background on my driving record, and when they do that, they see that my license has been suspended in Michigan because they run everywhere that I had a license.
So your CDL is through the state of Texas?
Yes. But when it comes to applying for other jobs, I'm applying for jobs that the terminals reside in.
Is it currently suspended in Michigan?
Yes.
And that's due to child support?
I believe so.
If that's true, it ended up not helping anyone, because now nobody is receiving any money. I don't understand how suspending someone's license is supposed to help them work.
Suspending and putting men in jail for child support just doesn't make sense to me. How is this man supposed to pay these bills if he's in jail? That's just the dumbest thought process in my head. It's just like someone owes me money and they work with their hands. They're a carpenter. I chop off their hands and then expect them to pay me in a timely manner. How are they going to do that?
And fulfill their responsibilities. If the goal was to motivate him to keep working so he could make his payments on time, I can clearly say that it failed because in the end he became unemployed. I also don't understand why there are so many measures in place to ensure that a father pays, but no system to recover the money when it's paid to someone who doesn't deserve it. Like in this case or in any other situation where a man pays for a child who isn't his. In my opinion, he should get his money back, since that child is not his responsibility. And if they want that money, they should go after the actual father. He's the one who should be held responsible for all the years he didn't do what he was supposed to.
Like, I just think about like the diabolicalness of courts. What if he paid this and then, then they figure out the other man's the father and then they charge that man 10 years of back pay and they don't pay this man back, I don't know. I just think about that. I'm like, I can see that happening. I can see that happening.
I mean, I never found out why, but every time they send me my driving record, it says that Michigan suspends my license. And I know FOC always suspends my license every month or two.
Great. That helps not. All right. I'm going to combine this decision then. Ms. Johnson, a motion was filed concerning the actual father of your child.
Mm-hmm.
There's indication that you knew in 2012 that Mr. Chandler was not the father of this child?
Yes, and me and his actual father, his biological father, went to court. I don't know what month it is. I don't know if you guys can look that up, but they told me that Thomas needed to file in writing to petition paternity by July of that year. Because I don't know, it was weird. Every time I went to court, I got different answers. It's been horrible trying to get this situated.
All right.
I can't believe what I just heard. Let me get this straight. Since 2012, both knew that this man wasn't the biological father, and based on how she explained it, it seems like neither of them took the necessary steps to update the child's records. As a result, a man who had nothing to do with their child was wrongly listed as the father and was eventually responsible for financially supporting that child for years, even though it wasn't his business.
They knew what they were doing.
So both biological parents knowingly allowed an innocent man to pay for a child they knew wasn't his. And to make it worse, she now claims she doesn't know why the information wasn't updated back then. That was convenient. I just don't understand how they could allow a man who is not the father to bear the responsibility, while the actual father walked free, without a cent being deducted from his paycheck. It's simply not right. Each parent should be responsible for their own child.
I'm getting a little bit like frustrated with this one. Just like in my head every time. Just poor gentleman getting his license suspended, trying to do the best he can, and he can't even live his life normally because this child support obligation to the child that is not his. I'm frustrated for the man. I don't even live his life. Like, I can't imagine being a man in this position, trying to get all of this stuff sorted out.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Do you guys have any current DNA tests that show?
So we got one, and it was a Walgreens test, and they couldn't use that.
So that's not the right. All right, you guys just went through DNA diagnostics. So they have his genetic material. What they need is Thomas Chandler's diagnostic material.
Yes.
I'm going to grant the fact that I'm going to grant a DNA order because it seems like you two are in agreement that he is not the father.
Yes.
And that you would prefer to have the child be listed for his real father on the birth certificate.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Because normally what I'm jumping through a couple of hoops with is that a judge denied this in 2018 because no DNA was given to them. I need new DNA testing that shows that he is not. Because I want to work out something, because if we're tying his hands and this man can't work, that's not helping the kids at all. They're getting no money. I can order $1,500 to $3,000 a month. But if there's no employer, all we're doing is spiraling him into debt that he can never pay, and that will keep round robining without him getting a driver's license that's usable.
Right.
So I need a cohesive and just comprehensive motion on this and a hearing on this. But I need Ms. Johnson and Mr. Chandler to cooperate and get the DNA of young Junior, Ms. Johnson, so that you understand any affidavit of parentage signed by Duran is worthless.
Null and void. Yeah,
it's null and void because you got to have him born out of wedlock or not have him have another legal parent.
Okay. What
I'm going to do is trigger a very little used clause in this, and that is sometimes time, even though we can only are supposed to do this within the child's 3 years of birth. My problem is we've got a child out there that you guys knew, and this entire thing, no offense, Ms. Johnson, was based on a lie, that Mr. Chandler was the father.
I was surprised that he was so straightforward about it, because most judges usually aren't that open.
Nope.
But I'm glad he didn't try to sugarcoat it.
I do like this judge. We watched him quite a few times now on this channel. He seems very reasonable when it comes to judgments.
Because what they did was wrong. How could they knowingly allow someone who isn't the father to be held responsible?
We know why they knowingly did it, modern dating here. It's because they're broke, dusty, musty crusties.
Responsible for that child for over a decade. That wasn't fair at all. I'm a woman, and I believe it outrageous that a man has to pay child support after a child is proven not his. He's been paying child support for 10 years over a kid who's not even his. Non-dad should get money back for all the money he gave her for the non-child. Pay him back. How can someone be legally responsible for a child but not be the father? How much you want to bet she takes the real dad for child support and asks for back support from 2013?
See, I was literally talking about this. I was just talking about this, and then the comment comes out. It's exactly my thought process.
We had jurisdiction at the time. We ordered it, but let's undo a wrong instead and try and get it right.
Yeah.
But I need the DNA to actually show that for the file.
Okay.
And then we can do a calculation based more cohesively on what he can actually earn with the front of the court, and maybe I can get the front of the court and get an order that says he keeps his license.
Okay.
And we will not touch it for a year, regardless of how much is owed.
Okay, that's fine. Yep.
And that way I can also find out from them, because it's not part of the
But he still owes money?
court file, how much arrearage there is here that we're going after. All right.
Okay.
So let's see if we can do this and make it possible to get these kids the money they deserve and the fathers they deserve.
Okay.
All righty. So I'll grant a hearing, Mr. Hahn.
Is it like, look at this, just like the woman there, she's okay, yeah, just give me the money, yeah, I screw people's lives over, but yeah.
Invite you, and I'll invite Miss Lipford as well. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I heard that in between between the lines. I get it. No. Again, we're just.
It wasn't.
I know. I'm kidding. Okay. Sorry. Thank you.
Your Honor, can you please clarify as to how we're doing the
Sure.
genetic testing in this matter?
I'm asking them. They did it through DNA diagnostic. They are going to have to get the genetic testing.
Okay.
Okay.
If you don't, I'm going to have to deny any change.
Okay. I'll get it.
So
That's fine.
I'll give you a couple months to do this. I'm reserving the child support for this case, so that we get it right, and we'll do it from the beginning. So if it's
So
two
I
children,
just,
it's two. If it's three, it's three.
So I get it, and then I just bring it to FOC, or do I bring it
No,
to the
file
court?
it with the court.
Okay.
File it with the court. Send Mr. Hahn a copy as well.
Okay.
All righty.
All right. Thank you.
We'll see you soon. I'll get you the notice of that hearing as soon as possible.
Thank you, Your
Okay.
Honor.
This is why licenses should never be taken and DNA should always be done at time of.
Yeah, the license being removed thing is just so stupid to me, because most people need a car and to be able to drive to get to work, and to take people's license away, you cripple them from getting to work.
Court. She's lying and should have to pay him back and all that money like he had to pay. It's going to be his fault as to why he won't get reimbursed. She admitted to a judge she lied, but it's not ordered to pay back the money or eliminate the debt. I don't understand.
Yeah, I was actually hoping that the debt was going to get eliminated. It did not. So, fuck.
If he stated it was fraud and based on a lie, why make him continue to pay?
Exactly.
They should at least stop the obligation to pay. This case highlights the importance of being selective about who we choose to share our energy with. As we can see, the mother had no problem letting the real father off the hook while placing the full weight on an innocent man who had nothing to do with the situation. This likely wouldn't have happened if he had made a wiser choice in who to have a child with. The only
Agreed.
person who truly benefited from this was the actual father, who spent over a decade avoiding financial responsibility. Meanwhile,
To me, it seems like her and the actual father are together, or are still together somehow, and like they want their names and stuff like that. So they've just been collecting this child support for free.
innocent man not only paid child support all those years, but also ended up losing his license over it, making things harder to deal with, especially considering the child wasn't even his. The interesting part is that there is a possibility that she might now pursue retroactive child support from the biological father. And if she wins, she could potentially end up collecting double the support for the same child.
That is crazy diabolical.
This would make her the only real winner in the entire situation. This is exactly why the man who was wrongfully held responsible should be reimbursed, and the biological father should be ordered to pay retroactive support. That would be the fairest resolution. It would settle everything.
98% of women will never find the love of their life because
True.
the concept is not real and it does not exist. Okay?
True.
Men are not looking for love, they're looking for orifices and servitude. Okay? I'm going to repeat it for the ones in the back, for the slow ones in the back, okay? They're looking for orifices and servitude. There's no such thing as the love of your life. It does not exist.
I mean, the love of the life thing, I agree that doesn't really exist, but we're not just looking for holes and slaves.
It does not exist, okay? Stop it. You need to let it go, let it go, let it go, because it's not going to happen for you, and you are not the exception.
And you know, women really think this because they don't think this way. They don't think like men. They don't love like men. We love unconditionally. When we love a woman, she doesn't need to provide us really with anything. She could be a drain and a detriment in our lives, and we're still gonna love her. Right? That's us. For women, it's not the same. So they just can't comprehend what true love is.
Okay? Am I saying that a man will never love you? That's not what I'm saying. I said there is no ultimate, supreme, next to perfect man that fits into it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen, okay? Okay? You will never be loved unconditionally by a man. And you should
see, now that's a lie.
This is why you should never give out unconditional love, because you are never going to get it back, and you're going to start to be resentful when you realize you are never going to get it back. Do you understand? Okay? You were sold a lie. You bought
this should be like targeting towards men here.
the lie, and now you're waiting for the lie to come true, and it's not going to.
She made some valid points, but others missed the mark. I agree with her theory that Disney movies and romantic novels have given many modern women unrealistic expectations about relationships. As she pointed out, those fantasies are far from what actually happens in real life.
Men are not looking for love, they're looking for orifices and servitude.
That kind of statement often comes from a place of pain or disillusionment, and it's where a strong, supportive father figure could have made a real difference. With a healthy male role model in her life, she might have had a better understanding of what men are truly capable of when they care for someone. When it comes to her dating history, it wouldn't be surprising if she spent her time chasing after the Chads and Tyrones.
Of course.
The guys who are exciting but emotionally unavailable, and we all know how that story tends to end. Meanwhile, there are plenty of good men out there, men who are ready and willing to care deeply for the women beside them. But they're often overlooked because they're not flashy or playing the same social games. So when some women use those generalized statements, they are often projecting experiences with a very specific and small group of men.
Again, I'm frustrated for the man, just going through that court case, watching it, I'm just like, oh, man. I can't imagine being the person that's getting my license taken to where I can't go to work properly, I can't get a normal job because my license, I'm paying for a child that's not mine, thousands of dollars, and we all know it's not mine, and I still have to pay thousands of dollars? Diabolical! Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate it. I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.